Many Muslims believe that the Quran is perfectly preserved, that there are no surahs added or taken away. Do you believe that? Regarding this topic, we're going to show you two comments from our videos that we want to refute. The Quran has been passed down perfectly because, firstly, Muhammad is said to have recited the Quran word by word several times. However, Muhammad was already dead when the Quran was put together, and whether he did know the Quran by heart or not. After his death, varying Quran texts existed, as we have shown in the last video. It was not until years later that these Quran versions were burnt by Usman and Zayd. The second argument given for the Quran being handed down perfectly is, many Muslims in the time of Muhammad memorized the Quran. Those Muslims lived longer than Muhammad, and through them was the Quran delivered to posterity. It is indirectly cited from the Sahih Al-Bukhari, a written tradition that is accepted and classified as authentic by most Muslims worldwide. Now it is very interesting. Right before the Sahih Al-Bukhari, Volume 6, Book 60, number 546, there is a number 521. You can very easily find that on the internet. In reciting the Quran, 4 people are distinctly pointed out by Muhammad. The Prophet said that from them the Quran should be taken and learned. Abdullah Ibn Masud, Salim, Muaz, and Ubai bin Ka'b. Ibn Masud is mentioned first. About Ibn Masud it is said, I shall ever love that man. For I heard the Prophet saying, take or learn the Quran from 4. Here we can already see Zayd is a man that is later on said to have put the Quran together. However, Zayd is not recommended by Muhammad regarding the Quran, but rather those 4 are. Why was then exactly he commissioned? This question remains unanswered. But let's stay in the same passage. Sahih Al-Bukhari, number 522. About Ibn Masud, it is said that he belonged to the best who memorized the Quran. No Muslim in that time disagreed with him over this. Ibn Masud even swore by Allah that he knew the place of every surah and every verse in the Quran. Narrated by Abdullah Ibn Masud, by Allah, other than whom none has the right to be worshipped. There is no surah revealed in Allah's book that I do not know at what place it was revealed. But not only that, the Prophet Muhammad even gives Ibn Masud the task to recite the Quran to Muhammad. And now here's the problem. Ibn Masud's Quran was shorter than today's Quran. He did not accept the Surah 113 and 114. At least that is what Ubai says. Your brother Ibn Masud said that he does not accept the last 2 chapters in the Quran. Ubai said, I asked Allah's messenger about them, and he said, they have been revealed to me, and I have recited them as part of the Quran. So we say as Allah's messenger has said. So Ubai is asked why his brother does not accept Surah 113 and 114. Ubai is not on the same opinion as Ibn Masud. He says that the 2 surahs were recited by Muhammad and thus belong to the Quran. Other weaker sources show us that Ibn Masud did not only accept the least 2, but also not the first surahs as part of the Quran. Let's sum it up. Even amongst the first Muslims that Muhammad authorized as Quran experts, diverging opinions existed regarding what belongs to the Quran and what doesn't. In order to better understand the various opinions, it is helpful to draw on other passed on traditions from the first centuries. While the following sources are not accepted by many Muslims, many Islamic scholars accepted them as historic facts. There it is written that Ibn Masud had a problem with Zayd's Quran. His version of the Quran was widespread in Kufa, today's Iraq. He recommended to his followers in Iraq to not give any Quran parts to Usman. Ibn Masud describes the collection of the Quran by Zayd that Muslims today refer to as a deception. Now we go one step forward. In the second part of the video, we want to show you another version of the Quran.